You said you date people that you attract. I think that's really important that he said that. Because at the end of the day, like we can talk about who our preferences are, whatever. You can only date who wants to date you at the end of the day. Which is why I asked the question about superimposing what you think a black man should be onto a black person. I feel like a lot of the qualities I bring to the table, other races seem to appreciate and value a little bit more.
What qualities are they?
Yeah, what qualities?
Okay, so I've heard a bunch of times growing up, like, oh, like I want like a thug, for instance, and I understand like that's stereotypical.
That's major in Michigan.
It is major, even in California now.
That's
I mean,
major,
like
yeah,
it's like I guess I kind of understand what some of the appeal of that might be, I suppose, but at the same time, like if we're trying to like build a healthy community, why are we prioritizing that?
That bores
For some
that bores a lot of women in the black community.
But that's my
When
point.
you start
like,
talking
yeah.
about positive things and stuff like that, they want somebody that's going to be destructive generally.
I disagree.
I don't disagree at all.
I
I've seen so many black women that say they want thugs, they want the gangster type, they feel protected. So much so
You
to the
gotta
point
have
to
a
where,
gun.
Yeah, they like the emotional highs and lows is like sex in and of itself to her. I've seen women like this where I've seen men give them STDs and they're still banging on his door like I love you. I'm like, who's really the fool here, you know?
But are
So-
thugs the only ones that are giving out STDs? Is that what we're saying? And
Majority.
I have to majority.
Majority.
Oh, you're talking to a public health background right now. Let me
bad.
tell you. It is not thugs. There is no line that says I'm a thug. There are white men, black men, Puerto Rican men, Hispanic, and in general, there's no percentage that says only thugs are giving the most STDs out. I'll tell you one thing, black women, heterosexual black women are the most high at risk for HIV right now, and it's not just from black men. It's from all men. That's why I want us to really dive deep into that. And then you're speaking of a community saying they only want thugs. I think education plays a major role in that, because if you're an educated woman, I'm an educated black woman from the trenches. Have you all heard that term? The
We
trenches.
wouldn't be talking to you then.
No.
You wouldn't be the archetype.
No,
but
of
there is a
course.
large majority of black women.
Like,
that
where are
want-
the studies
Yes.
coming from? Where
Where are the studies coming from? The numbers. The CDC. Who?
like specific
Local-
city, state?
Nationally.
Okay.
Nationally.
Can I just say something? I think we also need to look at what you said earlier, our environment. Why are we being quote unquote hostile? Why do we have these masculine futures? It's because we're put into these situations where we have to be a certain way or evoke certain characteristics. And although like certain things are portrayed online heavily, you know, like, oh, black women want to be like sexy red, black women want to be sexualized. So kind of something that we should all look at is taking assumptions out of the window, because there are a lot of assumptions being brought up. So like, who are you talking to right now? You're not talking to a heavy representation. Obviously, you're speaking with people who are heavily educated right now. So kind of consider that and notice that, you know, you're not always going to find a black woman that is ghetto. You could also find a very smart black woman. You know, you're not always going to find a smart white girl. You could find a very ghetto white girl. And stereotypes are very important in conversations like this, because we need to throw them out the window.
Yeah, so I've been wanting to do this topic for a couple of weeks. I've just been too busy. I really think black people should be careful where we have these type of conversations. Now, I don't believe Jubilee is one of the stations that we need to be on talking about the dynamics of the black community. I mean, I get it if it reaches a louder audience, but let's be honest, you're really only going to reach a certain demographic of people. And the same gaslighting, deflecting people that we usually deal with when we have this conversation. Now, the problem coming in for me is why we let white people or whoever runs Jubilee, I know it ain't black folk, why do we let them put us out there not in agreement with each other? Now, yes, the problem with the black community is that black men and black women seem to not be agreeing with each other, but why are we constantly letting like not black people do it? Like Donahue, Ricky Lake, Sally Jessica Raphael, all them shows back in the 80s and 90s that used to have black people on TV arguing about these same damn demographics, just not as bluntly straightened out. Now, the problem is with this conversation is you could clearly see that even in this conversation where where it is very much how do I want to go about this? Diplomatic in a way. You seem to have the one bull that has like the I want to say the hippie hair, but I'm going to go with that for the term hippie hair bull, who seemed to kind of be scared to understand what the men were saying. You had the one dude that was very much like, yo, y'all be on some bullshit, but constantly trying to put it on us. And you got the one bull that was there who was seemed like he was with the bull, but he wasn't at the same time. So my problem is we got a bunch of dudes on there, except for one who seems to be scared to say what they got to say. And you got the women on there who saying exactly what they need to say or deflecting whenever the topic comes in. Now, what I am tired of is the fact that every time there's a black man on there who speaks the absolute truth without sugarcoating it and making y'all feel like y'all need to look in the mirror, there's always that one person that got some dumb shit to say, or that's always trying to find a way to like delineate from the point that he made because it didn't make you feel right. So the bull straight up said it, like, we see the type of men that black women chase after on a regular basis. And that is not a deniable thing. He was straight up like, black women on a regular basis my whole life said they wanted thugs and hood dudes and all that other stuff. So what is it? What's the problem with that? Then you had the other dude. This is where I say he was kind of with him, where he said, the traits that I have, the characteristics that I have tend to be more attractive to other races of women, implying that other races of women like the type of black men that black women want at the end of the road, not beforehand. Saying other races of women appreciate that earlier on in life, younger, and way more easily to be easily dealt with. And that is the problem. Now that we have an internet station like that where black men are able to go on the internet and say, I dated black women for years. They didn't like who I was. I wasn't all that bullshit. I got with a white girl or an Asian girl or a Hispanic girl, and they appreciated that about me way more. It's like the conversation's right there, and the thing was, it wasn't even leaned into. It wasn't even addressed. It wasn't even like nobody backed them up. Like, now this is what I'm saying. This is where Jubilee fucks me up because they edit their videos. I'm tired of that. I need y'all to start dropping these videos raw on the channel. And sometimes they do put the link in like, okay, well, here's the link to the full uncut episode. But no, why can't y'all just put the whole thing on y'all regular channel? Just put it up on YouTube. Like, and this is what I'm saying. It's like, that's my problem. It's like Jubilee has the power to really have good conversations, and some of them be good, but they edit them to hell to the point where the main point gets landed on, but the rebuttal isn't there. So they kind of make it seem like there was a mic drop, but there was some editing going on. And black people went up there and had the conversation, but understanding like there's not going to be as much effect because of Jubilee's interference with their editing. Now, again, the dude straight up pointed out a thing, and this is outside of the manosphere. Jubilee is not in the black manosphere or in the YouTube quote unquote space, the talking space, the dating space. So this dude went onto a platform, not really added to any of those areas. They kind of touch on a lot of different topics. And he said it. He straight up said, other races of women appreciate these characteristics of black men more than our own black women. And then the dude, which did not realize niggas missing a hand, straight up was like, black women prefer those pseudo-masculine archetype thug-ass niggas. And then when the topic of STD came in, the bull was like, they're the ones giving y'all STDs and y'all still kicking down the door saying you love them. 100% effect. And of course, the woman had to delineate from it going, I work in public health, and there's nothing that says a thug is doing it. There's other races of men, which is true. There are races of men and black men who are spreading STDs. But the problem is, why are y'all the main ones getting them? So the problem is, and if you really look at the demographic of common sense, the niggas that's getting all the pussy would be the ones spreading the damn disease. Because if you got the dude over here who's not being chased by black women in any capacity, so he's not getting any sexual attention from black women, how is he going to pass the damn disease along if you're not sleeping with him? The guys who are making all the kids and leaving the single mothers broken with broken homes and having all the sex are the ones spreading the disease. And unfortunately, from a characteristic perspective, those are the guys that are getting all the sex. So he is right. To a degree, he's right. But she had to deflect because, again, that makes the women look bad. And if it's one thing we know about this whole conversation is black men bad, black women good, and there's no nuance to that part of the conversation. But the other half of this conversation is what my man brought up was y'all want the top 10% of men who get to that level to have multiple women. So the woman was basically saying, yeah, financials matter. Yes, financials matter, but then you're complaining that he's fucking all these other women. But then you're saying the dude that ain't got no money is having sex with all the women. So you got the broke dude with nothing going on having sex with all the women, and you have the top 10% of dudes with all the money and all the resources having sex with all the women. But nobody ever talks about that dude that has half of everything. So he's got his own stuff. He's got his basics together. He's at least there. He's working. He's got his shit. He comes home. He does exercise. Da 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 da. But nobody wanted to talk about him in the conversation either. And that's what I'm saying. It's like the marriage-minded men who would like to be married for the development of the community tend to be the niggas in the middle who at least have a job. I'm not saying they're like working at IHOP or something. I'm talking like trades. They might even have a degree. And they are doing what they got to do. They make a good amount of money, maybe like 50 to 60K, 70K. Some of them make 80K. You know what I'm saying? They're like 50 to 100K range of dudes who are actively kind of trying to find a wife, but y'all don't want them because they either don't make enough money or they're just not thugged out enough. And that's the topic that should have been stuck on because you already had a woman in that conversation who was a single mom. And if I remember correctly, she did not have her child in marriage. So she was already a single mom in that conversation. So you already X'd baby girl because you're already part of the problem. You're already a statistic. The other woman who was basically kind of agreeing with what the bull was saying, but also on the same stretch that the financials matter. The bull was like, if you only date for financials, then you're screwed because you're only putting the money where the value of the man is. Now, yes, we all know men with money tend to be more valuable on a provider type level. So we do know that. But what we also know is those dudes have a bigger amount of options than women to lay up and roll around with. So it's those top 10% of dudes and those goofy motherfuckers that have nothing going for themselves that are running through all the women, but they're also spreading the diseases. Again, the dudes who get all the sex will be the ones to spread the damn disease. But her way of getting out of having to take accountability for that was just going Hispanic men, Asian men, white men. So you're sleeping with those men and they're giving it to you too. Straight. Got you figured out. But you had to delineate out of the black community to other communities when it came to why black women are getting these STDs. So you're openly admitting that you're letting other races of men hit it too and letting them do what they gotta do to you, which also proves the large amount of other races of men making black women single mothers. And then, to land the plane, at least for this part of the topic, is the woman saying, y'all got to look at to why we're in this position. Because y'all picked this position. Not to be mean or disrespectful, but y'all picked this position. Y'all don't have to have this position, but y'all want this position. And that's just what it is. That's really just what it is. And black women just don't even want to come to the grips of, you really don't have to be in that position. It's ways to get out of that position. It's ways to dodge that position. And just saying, oh, well, I grew up in the hood or I grew up without my dad is no longer an answer because you got black women who have their dads and still go out there and become single mothers to some dusty ass nigga. Some Joan I knew, she was like, her dad was like a lawyer. Her mom was like something else. I know her mom did something crazy too. She went off to college. She got pregnant by a nigga that wasn't even in school with her. Wasn't even in school, period. The nigga was like, he was on the corner for real. It was like a dusty ass drug dealer type nigga. And the dad was fucking fuming, as he should have been. The dad was fuming. He was like, yo, what I didn't teach you to go out there and do all that. What are you doing? And she had to drop out because She had a child to take care of. You know what I'm saying? And the dads is like, yo, like, what's going on? Like, even black women who have dads, the educated ones, it's like, oh, I'm educated. I don't move like that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So it's like, you're in these hostile situations because y'all actively are attracted to it. Y'all are attracted to being potentially shot at. You're attracted to potentially getting your ass whooped. You're attracted to it. If you weren't attracted to it, this would not be the golden standard of story from black women over and over again. You would have Russell Wilson, who was there from the beginning. He loved me down from start to finish. He never abused me, never cheated on me, never even called me out my name. And we solved our problems like adults from start to finish. You would never hear black women talking about black men being hostile. But because they're not attracted to Russell Wilson, they like the idea of Russell Wilson, which I will be doing a topic on not too far from now, is astounding. And I love that at least those few key points were brought up in this conversation. They weren't really leaned into, which they should have been, but at least the statements were put out there to be known. The type of men who are worshipped and elevated in the black community are the type of men that black women will soon go on the internet and complain about not being around for their kids, are abusive, are destructive, and this, that, and the third. And I love that the dude with one hand did not give a damn. He was like, if he's destructive and fucked up, black women love him more. If he is more put together, black women do not want that dude. And they tried to fight it. They tried to fight every bit of it. And there was nothing they could do. And I love that bull stood 10 toes down on what it was. Now, the only problem I had with the bull with one hand is he sounded a little too red pillish for me. He sounded a little too like he was just in the internet spaces yesterday, and then he just came out and started saying them Jones. But in reality, we understand as men in 2025 the game of what it is. And the other thing is the bull with the hippie hair talking about the double standard of women with the type of, it's some weird, something crazy. And I remember thinking like, bro, the double standard is there. Oh, the security, like, the security of men with money, like money for men seemed to be important. And the women were like, yeah, and we want that. That's what we want. Okay, cool. Can you get that without having kids or getting STD? Because y'all will pop out some babies and pull up to that dude like you're supposed to just get him after that. And it don't work like that. It really don't work like that. And the funny reality is you will wake up one day and realize, like, sometime, I say in another 10 years or so, I don't see this conversation being this big in 10 years. In fact, I think this conversation will be more nuanced and handled in a way where maybe we'll see the numbers be I project the numbers will be massively different in 10 years for black men, especially, just based off of the trajectory we're going, our upward trajectory. What's not talked about is the fact that black men are doing very well financially. We're moving up the ladder. It's taken a damn long time, but we're moving up the ladder. Our marriage rates have gone up. Our children out of wedlock because our children out of wedlock is not as high as people try to put it out there to be, because most black men don't have kids, whereas most black women do. And the sister pretty much confirmed, yep, there are other races of men spreading STDs to black women. So thank you for confirming that without confirming it, dummy. And then you got the portion of black men who are just accelerating. Our degree numbers are going up. We're getting more degrees. We're getting more trades. We're getting more this, that, and the third. We're being more involved in our children's lives if we have kids. That's the part of the topic that should have been brought in, which those brothers did not do. Where I'll say y'all fumbled the bag 10 out of 10, no questions asked. It is what it is. But y'all fumbled that shit crazy. Now, I would like for one day for the black community to not have the idea or the need to think that we got to go to panels like Jubilee to have this conversation constructively. I hate that the Lapeef Network can't do it constructively without some bullshit or whatever, and other channels do it. I would like for black people to be able to have this conversation now. Damn. Excuse me. In a more nuanced perspective and a more constructive diplomatic perspective, other than just let's yell and scream at each other. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I would like to see. That's what I would hope that we could get to in some point. But right now, we're still weirdly at the beginning. It seems like we're kind of starting to get a little closer to the middle, but we're still kind of at the beginning. But I don't think black people should be going on white channels like Jubilee. Again, I don't know who owns Jubilee. I can only assume, right? But I would like to get to the point where we can just have this conversation with us. Nobody else is involved. It's just us. And then we find a way to bring our conversation to the middle, because we can't really afford this much longer. Like, America's going down the drain like a motherfucker. And the first people who are affected by America in crisis is black people. So we need to get it in gear between all of us. So, I'm glad this conversation went in a way that it went, but I need black men to stop being so damn scared to say what we got to say. Now, the few men who said it, where they would eat. The one boy didn't give a damn. The one boy was kind of scared, but wasn't scared. And the one boy just seemed like he didn't know what he was doing up there in the first place. So, black men, y'all gonna have to anchor down and start keeping this shit real from the jump. I don't like the idea of hurting the sisters, but they need the blunt, honest truth, because they haven't been getting it for a very long time. So, try to find a graceful way to do it. That's all I gotta say on the topic. You've been here with me, Black Intellectual. Let me know how this makes y'all feel down in the comments, right? Because I want more interaction in my comment section. Definitely like the video, subscribe for more, and I'll see y'all in the next.
We live in a superficial society. Women only want the men with money.
Yeah, as they should.
Well, thank you.
But
Let's just cut the BS. It's about money.
Yeah, it is. That should be the number
Yeah.
one thing when you're dating. That should be the first thing that
Why?
you.
Materialism
one of the
should
things.
be the number one thing.
It's not just materialism. It's that
it is materialism.
as a woman, we
That's
need
what
to
I'm saying.
know.
It's not just about money, but I
It
do
is.
agree
It
it's
is just
important.
about money.
It's not.
There's just a lot of
Money
BS.
should be the number one thing one of the top things that a woman should look at when she's dating.
It is the main
Look,
topic.
It is. It should be.
Are you saying one of or the most important?
The most important, yes.
I partially disagree, because I think there are, kind of like we mentioned earlier, there are preferences. If you find someone that is interested in a certain characteristic that you have, perfect, great for you. And so we have these assumptions that, all women are superficial. That is not the case. Absolutely.
Most.
Majority.
Okay, well,
Yes,
that is.
I don't
That's what the numbers
Maybe
I don't
what
care
you
about words, I care about actions. The actions say that women are superficial.
Maybe what you encountered, that may possibly be
I
the
think
case.
there will be a lot of men that will agree
However,
with me.
can you let me finish?
Yes.
Okay. Historically, if we look at the role of a man and we look at the role of a woman, that is what is proposed societally to us. And maybe it comes down to security. That is a very, very important thing within a relationship, within a community, within a society. Security is important. At the end of the day, you need money to put food on the table. Whether you're by yourself, whether you're in a relationship, whether you have kids, right? Is that a concern?
My thing is, if you're dating someone strictly for money, I don't want to hear you getting angry about him sleeping around or him doing whatever.
The
If
men
you
with
married
no
him-
money do the
Cheap.
same thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a species topic we're talking about. That's
Men with no money
then we
have less
say-
options to do that.
and more time.
My point, what I'm saying is
But
like,
do the men with no money really have the option
What is it,
to
man? Man,
sleep around with a lot of women?
Yes.
Yes. We
They
see it all the
do.
time.
Because it's a lot of women who have less money than no money. And if you are a man who has no money, but you're with a woman who has money, you have money. Because that's how women are.
That also goes back into validation. With you guys saying that's a bad man if he doesn't have X, Y, Z, then you also need to look at, why does a man need to be emasculated for not being where he wants to be.
And if you're a wealthy man and you want other women, get into a polygamous relationship. You do not have to cheat.
But it's kind of like common sense in modern times that men at the top 10% that most women want are generally like that and have options. And they're not going to settle for just one woman.
So why portray as if you want one woman?
Who said
I don't think they
portray?
do.
Who said
I
they
don't think
portray
do.
as they want one
It's
woman?
not a secret.
Most men go to that level just so they can get the amount of women.
It's a complete double standard, but I think it is the reality that I think men want the idea of this woman is only having sex with me because men.
Territorial.
Yeah,
Dominant.
exactly. Yeah, again, this is a double standard, not excusing this, but you know, the amount of men who are obsessed with a woman being a virgin, but also wanting them to be this like sexual dominatrix as well, complete idiocy. But yeah, I think unfortunately, men would rather know that their women are only sleeping with them, but then they are happy to give it out wherever.
I disagree. I think men just want, obviously they want their women to only be sexual with them, not with other men. And I don't think that's stupid or idiotic in any way.
Well, I just think it's a double standard because if we expect ourselves to be able to put it out anywhere, then I think it would be fair.
There's a
It
reason
depends on
why.
the person, depends the kind of guy you're talking about.
There's a reason why
Same
women
about
can
women.
get pregnant by one man every 9 months, but a man can get multiple women pregnant.
Oh,
all
of
at
course,
once.
yeah. Evolution-wise, yeah, we want to throw it everywhere we can, but I think for modern relationships, that doesn't necessarily work.
I just wonder, do most women want to sleep with multiple people the way most men want to sleep with multiple people? I think,
Now,
do they want the
why
same?
do you, why do
I
you
would say
feel the need
yes.
to want?
They do it.
I just think that men, a lot of guys intrinsically, when they have more options, they want to exercise them versus I think a lot of women, a lot of time, when they're committed to one person, would rather just be with that one person.